Hi, this is Eric Rosenfeld again. This video will get you started with all the fundamentals of making things move in After Effects. For a large percentage of motion work, this is really all you need. Start with good design and then put that design in motion. Like the last video, I'm going to flash a try it yourself image after each step. That way you can pause the video and, well, try it yourself. I'm also going to break up this lesson into a series of shorter videos to make it easier to review. There is a lot to remember when you're first learning After Effects, so you might not memorize it all at first. You will need to revisit these videos to review a step every now and again. Simple enough? Let's dive in. Navigate to the tutorial assets you downloaded for this lesson. Everything is in a folder called Video Assets. While you do that, let me make a quick point. If you are the type of designer who leaves your files scattered across your hard drive and you don't know where your files are, then you're going to have a lot of trouble in After Effects. With After Effects, you always must know where your files are. Alright? So, back to the Video Assets folder, there's a folder called 04 Making Things Move. Everything for this lesson is going to be in that folder. Find the After Effects project in that folder. It's called 04 Making Things Move version 1.aep. Double-click on the .aep file to open it. If you had a different project open in After Effects, it will ask you to save the changes before closing that project and opening the one you just double-clicked on. Isn't After Effects so polite? Once the After Effects file is open, take a look at the project window. Notice the series of comps that have already been created. We are going to work our way through the comps, and by the end, you will be a keyframe ninja. If for some reason an asset is missing, After Effects will italicize the name. Double-click on the missing asset to reconnect it to the file on your hard drive. There shouldn't be anything missing in this demo because I put everything in one folder. Also, if you've been messing with the After Effects interface, reset the default workspace by going to Window, Workspace, Reset Default Workspace. That way we're both working with the same type of interface. Also, number 2, beware of the caps lock key. The caps lock key on your keyboard will disable playback within After Effects. There are very few reasons to use the caps lock key while you're in After Effects, so always check to make sure caps lock is off. So I'm going to open up the Comp 01 Previewing and Resolution. It's at the very top of the project window. We are going to use this comp to explain how After Effects plays back animations. When you finish an animation completely, you're going to render it out to a QuickTime movie of some type. When you play an animation within After Effects, it's called a preview. Basically, After Effects gobbles up all the computer memory, renders the timeline to that memory, and then plays it back. For simple projects, this is very quick. For more complicated projects, it can take a little while. So in this composition, when I hit the space bar, it's going to render it and play the animation. This is a fairly common animation. We have a bunch of layers animating onto the screen in different ways. So take a moment and watch the animation. Look at the timeline, turn layers off and on so you can see how the layers are constructed. Go give it a try. So, the spacebar is how you play your animation. You can also use the preview panel. When I click the word preview, it will reveal the preview panel. And you can see there are a lot of transport controls such as stop and play. Also, you can see there's a lot of settings that could help you speed up your workflow. We don't need to get into any of these specific settings at the moment, but you should know that they are there. Now, let's go back to the timeline. Notice the green bar across the timeline. This indicates that the frames have been rendered. The first time it plays, it might not be in real time, as it's struggling to render and play back. But once the timeline is green, it will play back just like the final render. If you change something in the composition, it will then re-render it the next time you hit the spacebar. I'm going to turn off a couple layers. Notice how the green line breaks anytime I change something in the timeline. Then, when I hit the spacebar again, it re-renders the timeline. Now for a couple other features. Turn your attention to the space just below the composition window. The composition or comp window shows whatever is in the timeline. Notice the 100%. When I click that, it shows a lot of zoom options. Here, you can set the comp window to be smaller. The smaller the comp window, the faster it will render the preview. It will still play back in real time, but since it isn't rendering as many pixels, it will be much quicker. This won't be important in the beginning, but as you add high-resolution layers, video, and 3D elements, your computer can really start slowing down. Knocking the comp window to a smaller size can help with that. Also, the fit options are nice because it means you can always see the full composition. It moves the interface, as you move the interface around, it will scale the comp window. Just be aware that it can cause some strange playback issues if the scaling window goes down to a weird percentage like 27.5. And if you see something like that, just snap it back to 50 or 75% and it'll play back nicely. You can also set the quality of the preview right here. Most of the time it defaults to auto. This means After Effects will drop the quality of the render if it is struggling. But if you need to speed things up, or it's really important to see a high quality preview, you can set it right here. For this project, you won't see much of a difference because it's a pretty simple animation. One more really important feature of the timeline. This is the work area. The work area allows you to focus on just one section of the timeline. You can use the work area to preview a portion of the animation. In this case, I might want to just play the beginning when everything comes onto the screen. Now I can watch that section over and over and make sure it looks good. Then move to the part of the timeline with the animated highlights. See how it only plays the work area. So here is your first After Effects shortcut. If you double-click on the work area bar, it will reset to cover the entire timeline. It's a nice little shortcut. And while I'm here, let me address one more feature. At the bottom of the timeline, I have another slider that lets me zoom into my timeline. See how the time changes as I zoom in and out? This composition is only 10 seconds long, but when you have much longer projects, zooming into the timeline is important. You can also control this with the bar at the very top of the timeline. So now pause the video, practice previewing the animation. Change the resolution of the comp window and setting the work area. Then we will pick up in the exact same spot in the next video.